whole time?
Yeah. Like we're having a conversation.
Oh.
Okay.
Are you leading this conversation?
I don't know. What are we supposed to say?
This was your idea.
I don't know. I'm nervous.
I knew you were going to do this.
Oh, be an idiot?
No. Just be weird. I thought what was the whole point of this?
I told you earlier today how many times people go through and come up to either you or me or both of us and are like...
Or the baby
randomly and are like, okay, so what do you guys... Like, how do you guys do this? Like, how do you actually do what you're doing? And I was just... I don't know.
About it.
Well, I was like, okay, well, what if we were just to tell people this is how we do our life? Like, this is what we're doing. This is how we do it with our relationship with each other, how we juggle all of it with the children, and just kind of talk about it.
Really short.
It's going to be like this short.
Short show.
Name that breed. No one's going to get that joke at all.
Maybe. Posting it on Facebook.
People are gonna be like,
my 5 friends.
People are gonna be like, this is how they do it because they're crazy people.
Insane.
We are crazy people. I mean, I don't know. I mean, how many people do you have come up to you and actually go through and like, well, you're so great, or you're so
I get phenomenal. That a lot.
You're so phenomenal.
I don't think anybody really wants to know how I do it.
What do you mean? They're always talking about like, oh my gosh, you're so amazing, and they don't ever ask you like, how do you do this? I don't think
so. I don't think because do they really care? If I'm going to sit there, and do they have the time? Like if we're at a competition and someone's like, you're so amazing, how do you do it? If I'm walking a course, I'm not going to be like, well, actually, hold on. Let me have a conversation.
I don't know. I mean, I was thinking more so you don't have anybody that will go through and say, how do you juggle the kids? You're a super mom, and then elaborate on that. Okay, well,
I've never elaborated on it.
Okay, well,
they will say very sweet things to me, but I don't think they've ever been like, how do you do it?
No, but I think behind the scenes, it's super tough. Like, I don't think that any of this comes easy, and I don't think people... I think today when I heard you on the radio, and then when I watched you win second at Nationals, I think for me that made the biggest impact, because I know how much you and I duked it out before, how we try to make sure we have date nights, shuffling kids between stuff, you running to the field to practice, or teaching lessons, or you don't want to teach a lesson because you
also have a job.
I do have a job. And then I gotta fix the camper, or hey, Parker's trying to go through and do the oil changes, and I think there's a lot, and I'm always super impressed and humbled by how well you stay focused on keeping us all on the rails and the tracks. I mean, I would say I do a lot of work there, but I would say you are a lot of the magic behind. I mean, unless you don't think I'm correct at all.
No, I what else? I mean, you help as well. Yeah, I try to keep things going, I guess.
No, I think it's a super cool mix. I think that we have to really lean on each other in some pretty challenging moments and times.
Is this going to be a deep conversation?
I may start crying on camera.
Oh my gosh, no!
To everybody, that's the secret. That's the secret.
Parker has all the emotions.
I have all the emotions, and I
on the wall.
I dump them every day.
No. Is this going to be a deep conversation? I mean, I guess we could. I don't want to do a deep conversation.
I don't know if you're talking about like here's all of our
No.
our dirty laundry. for the world.
I thought we were gonna talk like competitions and like.
Okay, well let's just back up then for a minute. I should pour like a drink and have a drink while we're doing this.
Okay.
And I'll smoke a cigar.
Ew.
I can't do that.
I'll just leave.
No, but okay. So first of all, explain exactly what you do with agility.
Oh, we're treating this like nobody knows.
Well, yeah. I mean, some people
Who
are going to watch
sharing this with?
I don't know.
Is this going in somewhere like?
It could. It could be going everywhere. Who knows?
Oh.
No, but I mean, what do you do? Like, why are we doing this, and why are our schedules so crazy? And what do we do with 4 kids, 5 dogs? We travel around the country in a bus. Like, what is that? Why don't we explain?
Dogs.
Okay, yes, we do dogs. We do dogs collectively.
Well, I don't know.
What do you mean? You got into agility years ago as a fun hobby that weaved in and out of work schedule with me on what I was doing professionally, and it hooked you. Like, that was back in 2014 when that happened, and I remember that because you and I took Sadie to that dog agility class thing.
Oh yeah.
At the local little place, and little did I know
you ruined my chances for agility.
I didn't ruin anything.
You did. I told you never come again.
I had her jump all of her jumps.
No, you put her on the teeter. And I remember Beth was like, never put her on the teeter. And I was like, you've ruined my life.
I ruined your life. Wow, that is super intense. No. But you got into it and you started doing trials and you really got hooked. I would say it took like 2 years after that. And then we were like, okay, our first child came along.
I would say, yeah.
And then we had...
I was pretty hooked, but I feel like with agility, and I've told this to people before, it's hard to kind of get into it. Like, I feel like nobody talks about it. And, like, they don't let you know, like, when trials are, or, like, here's a website, you can look up close events. And it's just a weird... And I didn't feel... I mean, I had plenty of people helping me, but I don't think to the level I wanted to. Like, get to, like, I wanted to travel. Like, I wanted to travel more. Like, I knew I wanted... I don't think I didn't travel.
On your own? Or, like, as in...
Well...
You're talking like us, okay, let's go
just me go.
You just go by yourself.
No.
Like
I did do my first travel away to Tennessee by myself.
Was that the one where you're doing, like, hotels and...
That was the first one with the camper. The hotels I've done...
You were doing the hotels
way before that. That was terrible. But, yeah.
I do remember that.
Do you remember that?
I remember.
You were working.
Well,
all the hotels I did, and that was terrible. That was how people do hotels blow my mind. But I also had small kids, so and multiple dogs, multiple kids, hotels.
Yeah, and then we decided to go through and get the camper. It was like on your birthday, I thought, or something.
It was right before my birthday.
It was something like that.
But I wanted to travel more, and I felt like, specifically in this area, there's not a lot of people that like or be like, yeah, totally. Here's the list. You can find the trials here. I feel it was like I had to figure it out, which is totally fine. I'm capable, but I feel like it should, I don't know, be easier. I just don't feel like it's easier for people to figure things out. Like when I have people now ask me things, like I'll be like, yeah, shoot, here's what I do, and if you have any questions.
I mean, I remember you getting frustrated a couple times on how people did not like you having the children.
Well, that has nothing to do. That has nothing to do with this.
Like, did people not go through and I don't remember anybody not.
It just, I feel like agility. I mean, it could be every sport. I haven't gotten obviously that deep into any other sport, but I feel like the dog world, like any world. I mean, I've heard it from like horse people, like conformation show people too. I mean, I guess that's dog world too. But I feel like every world has its own like clique. And there's so many clicks in agility. There's so many clicks in agility that it's kind of like...
But I think that we've always kind of floated on the outskirts of it. But then again, though, you had like...
50 kids. Oh.
50.
Sadie.
Surprise! No, but I mean, you always had... I mean, Sadie was not an agility dog. I mean,
she was. I mean, I think... And that's another thing I think that was... the dog that I had, well, Sadie, and even Rascal, it's like people don't take you seriously unless you have like a certain level of dog, which is so sucky because if you have aspirations for bigger, I think people just kind of meh. I mean, there's a couple, obviously I ended up with some brilliant dogs, but I feel like it took so long.
I remember you and I.
And like nobody took me seriously for a really, really long time. And it's like,
no.
But I don't think many people did because obviously, why would anyone take me seriously?
Like
I have a kid. Yeah. I had a kid. I'm pregnant. Like who really wants to take that person seriously? I don't know.
Yeah, but then why, how did you push through? I mean, we've had this conversation a ton of times, but where was the actual point where it's like, holy cow, I think I'm really good at this. Like I'm really flipping good.
I always thought that.
I always knew I was brilliant.
No. I don't know. I mean, I look back at videos of when Sadie and I were running and I knew physically I had the ability to do well as my background being sports. Like I can do sports. Like I've got great timing. I've got relatively good coordination. I had no idea if I'd do well with a good dog because I didn't know how good my training would be because that's the whole point of agility is having good training. And there's some trainers that are just impeccable trainers and I would never put myself in that box. I'm a pretty good trainer, but there's some people that are just like mind-blowing trainers where you're like, that person could train their dog to walk on their hind legs upstairs carrying a drink. And you're like, what? I would never put myself in that category. I'm a pretty good trainer, better athlete. Like I think I could get through a course pretty darn well. Now I don't always handle it perfectly, but I don't know if there was a point. I remember knowing I could always better myself more so than being like, I'm really good at this. It's like I knew if I had the right dog and if I was in line with the right people, I would continue to learn. And I always wanted to learn. I don't think I've ever done anything that I'm ever like, I'm not going to give it 110%. Like that's just not, I don't think that's either of our characters, like just doing things halfway. I think we're always like, anything. We're just obnoxiously trying so hard at stuff.
Yeah, yeah, we can't ever go just halfway do it. I think, I know how I mean, but what were your thoughts though when some of the pushback you got from me? Like, how did you handle that over the years? Because you
really didn't support very well at the beginning. I think because most of your family too thought it was just some sort of ridiculous hobby. Like as soon as she gets a kid, she's gonna stop, and it was like, I'm gonna get another dog.
It wasn't just on my side. Like
everybody, I don't know. My parents could care. They could care less.
I don't know.
Did they tell you secretly they hated my life?
Really?
Because my parents, they would never say that.
No, it was just more like, I think we all thought, and I would be lying if I didn't say this, that I thought it would be something where kids would come along and the hobby would kind of fizzle out. And now when I look, I mean, what is that now? Over 10 years ago? And I look back and I see where we are now, and it's like, I just came home at 4 a.m, you and I did, from a trip to Chicago for a trial, and it was really tough, but like, that's just part of what we do as a family unit. Like, I don't know.
Well, I think the better question
me a while to embrace
is how did you learn to embrace it? Because obviously, when I stick my mind to something, it's going to be very hard for me not to do it. True. So how did you end up embracing it? Because it was your pushback against me, and it's like, I'm sorry, this is what I'm doing. Like, you could either hop on the crazy train or just sit in the back.
I don't know if it was hop on the crazy train. I think it was more for me, and I still have to remind myself every day when I do get overwhelmed or exhausted, which was, I really love you. Like, I really love you on a deep, deep level. And if you love this that much, then I know that I need to meet you in that place. I think that's how I came to grips with it. And there's still times, like, whether that's the trip we just did or Oklahoma a couple weeks ago or whatever, like we do, when I find myself getting frustrated or like, oh my gosh, it's another freaking trial we have to do. Like, I just came back from being overseas. I flew to Pennsylvania, grabbed an Uber for an hour and a half to meet
it was Gunner's birthday.
I know that, but it's like, but I did all that to do a trial to then get in a bus, come back, and then repack, and we go the next weekend.
Again,
that's
you could stay home.
I could always stay home. Yes, that is the normal response that you have. But I know that if I want to, I think, show my love to you on a deep level, I always have to push myself to go to that place. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
It does, but again, I don't sit there and think if he doesn't show up to every single one of my trials that he doesn't love me.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm just saying, like, I think for me,
I
want to be a part of that journey. I want to be a part of that with you and the family and experience that. I mean, I've stayed home from trials, and I wouldn't say it's like, oh my gosh, this is phenomenal. There's no kids. There's no, look, I don't even sleep well alone in hotels, much less my own house. So now it's phenomenal. You love that.
Be by myself.
But maybe that's my problem. Is I don't like to be alone. But I think that I do. I always push myself to make sure.
Well, I don't think anything. I mean, there's very few experiences that we had where it's not been like I try to make it fun or do like I try to make them fun, even if it's dog stuff.
Yeah, but I see that because when I pack the fridge, I can see when you're packing different foods and the meals you're doing, like that doesn't, like, it's not sloppily put together.
Yeah,
and I think, and it's on purpose because you really thought it. Said, oh, I think, like, for example, I'll find like the honey bunches of oats. And
they were on sale.
She hates. Well, okay. She's not gonna eat this,
of course.
But she brings it for me, like, or you'll do different meals because you know that'll mean something to me.
Yeah.
And so I think that even though we've had like arguments about, well, this doesn't need to be fixed here on the camper, or this doesn't need to be done, but I look at it from the standpoint of, I know this is going to help her continue to operate at the level that she wants to operate at, and I want to meet her there. I want to make sure everything is as best as I can, which we've had that discussion all the time. And I know that if I can't go against this, like, it's like me going against the brick wall. Like,
it is, yeah.
Either I'm going to I think adapt to it, or I'm not. And I think if I'm not, that alternative is kind of sucky because I'm just not a part of that, I think, aspect.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same way I thought. It was just either you get on board or you don't. Like, in my head, I never...
You're out of here.
You're gone after 4 children. No. I really did just think that I could weasel you into it.
Wait.
I could weasel you. I could talk you into it.
Did you really think you could talk me into this?
I'm pretty sure I could. And I obviously did. 11 years really down the road. Where are we now? You came back from a trip at 4 a.m. Can you imagine me trying to play that game 10 years ago?
No, but then again.
But you were at the dealership.
The thing
your job was
family business,
crazy.
I could do that, but even before the family business, I was able to make it work. But that was super stressful. I mean, it works. I mean, I would say that God has you and I in a certain place right now for whatever reason. And I don't even know, like, that's why I wanted to even sit down and do this. Like, I don't know, like, why.
You saw me on the radio this morning and thought I looked really cool. It's what happened. And then you were like, oh, I could be a radio guy.
She's so cool. Okay. I could do this with her. Oh, no. Anyways, I'm rambling on there, but I think for me, the way I can not convince myself, but I think I had to go to a place and say, okay, this is where she's at. Either I'm going to meet with her in that moment, or in these moments, or I'm not, but I still struggle with it. I mean, it's not like you and I don't have some sort of a come apart if I'm in the camper all day. I haven't seen you, you're running trials, the kids, like that gets...
I come back after every run.
Don't you tell everybody that. You never come back.
Y'all, I'm gonna
That's not true. You don't come back.
Any competitor can look and see I'm not sitting down watching other dogs run. As soon as I'm done running my dog, I am back in the camper changing diapers, getting everybody milk because everybody needs milk the second I leave.
I don't feed them anything until you get there.
Magnus is cooking food for people.
Magnus made me breakfast.
He's so responsible. No. I mean, I come back. It's not like I'm gone all day. Maybe like an hour. It feels like all day though with so many children.
I love it though. I mean, I've gotten to the point now where, like, okay, for example, we're planning this tour in the summertime, and we've got tour the Ruff Crew.
Tour the Ruff Crew.
Tour the Ruff Crew. Oh, stickers made with that. Yeah. But anyways, no, but like, this is the second summer we've done this, where we go long distances.
This is I think the longest we've ever been has been 20 days. 20 days.
It wasn't. That we did it for like over a month. Did we do that over last summer?
No. I think we didn't do it the whole time in the camper. I think we did like broken trips. This is the first time where we literally will be in the camper the whole time.
Yeah, but I mean, the amount of trials.
That's like 60.
The amount of people.
Days.
No, I know.
Is that true? Is that
really
true? 2 months? Over 2 months?
Oh, crap.
So 30 days in a month? Most of them.
That's going to be in. But I mean, look at this. Your trial in California, in Oregon. Did you say
New
Washington? New Mexico.
And then Murfreesboro.
Tennessee. Like, I mean, that's going to be crazy cool. And I think, I mean, how many people have, I mean, what was it? Debbie today went through and was like, I wish I could do that. Like, anytime we do this, we don't run into people that are like us, that are running around like a bunch of. I mean, it works.
No, because there's plenty of people that homeschool.
It's not like we're not working. Like I'm working while you're working, and we just do it in a bus.
Yeah,
that's different. Well, that's true. People do homeschool.
I think so. One of the reasons this appealed to me is because I do feel like that age range, like after 25, because the juniors have this cool event coming up that's like, it's 25 and under, so you're 20, they still considering that young, even though 25, it's a little old for me. Is it? I don't know. I feel like 25 is a little bit.
That's young to us or old?
Is that? I don't know. I feel like 25 to be considered in the junior competition is kind of older, right?
I don't know.
Anyway, the AKC considers juniors 18 and under, but they're doing that competition 25 and under, and I feel like there's this age range that goes from like 25 to like 50, where it's this weird group of adults that either are newly married or thinking about having a family. And
wait, within agility?
In agility.
Or are you just talking about
I'm
like
talking about
general?
in agility. I guess you could say in general too, but I'm more thinking of agility because agility obviously is a majority older crowd. Like median age like 65, 70.
I don't have that information, but I would say that's probably pretty fair.
Okay, but to say, I mean,
I see. Yeah, no, I see.
Clearly, there is a.
It's not like when we go to Europe and they're all like
younger
our
people,
age or younger,
with bunch of kids,
running everywhere,
and you're like, what a difference. So I feel like
by the way, you remember that when we saw like Magnus and Torsten play with all those
the Germans,
and they had no idea what they're saying. And
yeah, that was
Torsten and Magnus. Like it was like he's speaking blah 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 blah. And I was like, what did you just say? Because he's speaking this. And anyways,
needless to say, I like the idea of this because I do believe that there is a younger, older group. So we're not obviously juniors. There's no way we'd be mistaken as juniors, but we're still like a younger group that either is eventually going to get married or eventually have kids or not do either of those. And they're just still in that weird range where I think the older generation, I think, it's like these young people, But then the younger people are like, oh, those old people. It's just a weird group of, it's just a weird age. And I felt like when...
Of where we're at right now.
Yeah, and for sure in agility, I feel like it's just a awkward age to be in, especially if you happen to have children. But I felt like even in the childbearing years, I remember that was one of the things that a lot of breeders had against me, was like, she's of childbearing age. And it's like, thanks? Like, what do I do with that? Whoops. I'm sorry. It's just a weird...
It was more like, delay this until after you raising children.
Which is what I got a majority of. When I first started, when people saw me with babies, I got so many people coming up to me saying, I waited 18 years to do this. And I remember thinking, whoa, that sucks. Like, I'm not going to wait until I'm like, my kids are grown. Like, I'm definitely not going to be as healthy or in as good of a shape. Maybe in a movie, I don't know. But
yeah, but I don't know. I think one of the reasons why I wanted to sit down and share this talk that you and I we talk about all the time was because
all the time,
every day.
So we're gonna film it so he can just watch it later.
This
guys.
is not for anybody. This is just hey Parker, go watch this.
Just remember this.
And just remember this conversation because it's not happening again. No. Now what I meant was when you have taught me, not tried, but you have actually taught me this, okay, hey, look, we've only got the kids for like this amount of time. Why would we go through and delay all of this and then do it without the kids? Like, yeah. Why not do it with the kids?
I love doing
right
it
now.
I hands down love it. I love the experience.
And it's not, but I'm not, oh, go ahead.
What?
I was saying, like, I'm not saying it's not fun when you and I get away, because I'm always wanting to do that. But like when we went and we had to go to the camp for that event or whatever, and it was just you and I, and it was like, okay, this was kind of nice. It was nice not to have the children with us. It was nice. I was like, okay, this is a cool preview of what this will look like. But then we're sitting around the fire up in Kentucky last week or whatever. And was that time or something? I was like, like, do you think we'll ever go through? And see, I don't want to say, like, it makes me emotional to think about it. Like, do you think we'll miss?
And I said, yes. I know what he's going to say. I know it. Yeah. And I said, we will miss it.
We'll miss that.
But then we'll have grandkids. We'll miss
the insanity.
Yeah.
And the crazy.
It's always insane with me. I don't know what you're talking about. Just get more dogs.
No, I meant, like, I think that it's worth integrating.
I completely agree.
Them into not only the agility and what we do, but like also into. I think every aspect of.
I think that's a very foreign concept for a lot of people, though, because I specific, maybe just your family, maybe because my family did everything, we did it all together.
No, we did a lot together, but I mean,
But I remember when we got Kiki and Sadie, and I think we had Russell at the time. I remember one of your family members said, "Oh, once the baby comes," because I was pregnant with Magnus, she's gonna get rid of the dogs. And I remember thinking,
"Don't worry,
I will get 5 more because of you.
4 more dogs.
Fuck it.
And 5 more."
But I do remember that. I remember thinking, like, they think as soon as the kids come, like, I'm done. This is where and I think that a lot of families, because even non-agility, has nothing to do with agility people, are scared to travel with their kids. Like, even car rides, these road trips that we take, people are like, I can't take a trip longer than 2 hours with my kid. Or I can't take a trip overseas with my kid.
I know, I hear that all the time. I'm like,
all the time.
Like 2 hours is like us driving 20 minutes. But
that's
Montana,
a day trip.
We got used to that all the time anyway.
Yeah,
so,
that's a day trip is 2 hours. There's no way.
Like this travel this weekend is, how far is that? Like 3.5 hours? We're like, that's nothing.
That's nothing.
The most we can do, which we've always said, is
during the school
12
year.
Hours.
Well, no, during the school year, trips are 4 hours, generally, unless it's a big event.
When we had trailers and they were all in the car, we could not go.
No. Well, I mean, we would have to stop like every...
It was like a 7-8 hour trip turned into a 14-hour trip. The bus,
so bad.
When we do those trips, we can pull off Well, I just did it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a 10 to 12 hours is the max I can do without switching. Like I would have to be heavily drugged.
Well, no, we would have to start. I think you could do bigger if we actually started earlier.
Well,
I feel like we end up starting so
when we
late.
do cross country trips, we can get up at 6 in the morning.
And you would ride all day if you could.
I've done it.
I don't think
the nighttime I can't do. Really well.
But I mean, if we started early, that's the problem. Is that most of the time we're
finals
leaving
are at the very
in
end.
the afternoon. Yeah, so it makes it a little bit tricky.
Yeah, but I think going back to what I was saying is I think you're right. I think you're 100% right. Where there will be a day where we don't have the yelling and the craziness that's in the camper. We'll have the dogs, but I think we'll miss the children. So I think why not me figure out how to integrate my work into the situation?
Yeah.
Why not go through and how we actually took a hobby and said, well, let's try to make money off of this and make it an actual legit thing, and you turn into training and all that. It's okay. And then the kids are just an extension of that.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, some people will say, well, we don't put them in, we don't do like crazy sports stuff.
They don't want to. Mm-hmm. I've tried to get the kids into sports. Magnus is rock climbing. They don't want to do sports. That's when we'll start running into things, is if one of them wants to get into like legit sports, which is fine. Then that's another balancing act. We have to figure it out.
Yeah, but I don't think it's gonna, like, we don't have to, I think I like explaining to people is you don't have to like cut this part of your life off.
Oh, no.
Like, I don't think that's a healthy way.
No, it would just have to, like you said.
I'm just like, oh, I'm sorry. You need to stop doing this, what you love doing, and then just box it up and go revisit that in 30 years.
No, 30 years.
Or, well, I mean, give me our 20 years. If you take all the kids and how they're aging out, I mean, it could be 20, 25 years for us.
Yeah.
So, okay, in 25 years, you're not, and I'm not going to be.
Spring chicken.
You're not a spring chicken woman.
No, I don't. I again, you just integrate it. I think that if the kids have something that they're super passionate about, I don't want to squash that at all. That's not something I'm interested in.
I mean, do you think we'll run into that?
No, I think that it's gonna maybe look different, like the times where you might have to stay with the kids for things, or, I mean, again, your schedule's crazy at the beginning of the year.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, shoot, I missed, with your permission, I missed one of the
births of our child.
You told me to go.
I did.
I
did not expect him early.
I land in Germany and I get a phone call.
It wasn't when you landed.
The day after,
yeah.
And I'm like, and you're like, my water broke. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're at the hospital.
You need to be there.
You drove yourself. Didn't you drive yourself?
I drove myself. My mom's terrible at driving.
And you drove yourself to the hospital. And then you had little man. And then I said, how is everything? And it's extremely nice and quiet. Without you here.
Whoa. I don't think I said that.
That's all I heard.
That's exactly what you heard.
That's all I heard.
Did you really?
I remember you said that. It's like, it's so nice and quiet without you here.
Oh my gosh, I'm not
like,
certain.
It's so peaceful. It's really quiet. You're not stressing me out. Like, it's
wow, I'm not certain I said all that.
Is that true?
I probably was thinking it, but I don't think.
I thought you said that.
I am certain.
I've lived by that now for 2 years.
I might have just said it was nice. I mean, it's been nice. It's been nice. Again, I'm in the hospital for
but regardless,
10 hours.
Regardless, like, that's pretty intense travel season for me.
You. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it would have to be one of those things where we would end up eventually, if the kids have something that they're like gung-ho passionate about, I don't
have
we just have to figure it out. Which it's one of those things, like, either you stay, like that one time you had to stay home from nationals that you still don't believe me happened last year.
Did I really say
you did.
You went
at Perry.
Oh, that's right.
It was super close.
In Georgia. It was close.
It was close.
I was like, there's no way you went to Oklahoma.
No.
By yourself.
I mean, I could, but
you pull the Airstream up to Pennsylvania by yourself and back.
Mm-hmm.
Which
I was very pregnant.
I always love telling that to people, where it's like, yeah, she can she could back a trailer better than me.
I
and
am
I could
very
back a
good.
trailer pretty darn well.
People have
and
complimented
I've grown up
on
doing
it.
that, and you can do that.
And I didn't grow up on doing
And
that.
then I was like, I can level out the camper fine. Nope. You level it out better than me. You drive it better than me. I just have to be fully drugged in the back asleep to ride in it because it stresses me out. But beyond that, no, you're super capable. So, but.
And that was all learned stuff because I did not grow up doing that stuff.
You didn't grow up doing, like, your
I mean, a lot of people, because I feel like.
Your mother specifically said.
She hates strip clubs.
To your father, that if your dream is to go through and buy an RV and travel around the country when you retire, I'm not marrying you. And that is like the furthest thing from anything that they enjoy or like. But I grew up around that. I grew up around that with Papa.
I feel a lot of people too, like in agility, do like horse shows, like that. They just seamlessly fit into like the dog world with their trailers and their campers and stuff. And like that's the furthest thing that I grew up with.
Yeah, but you've done it, like.
Yes, and I like doing it.
I tell you what, that was so funny. To see you back the Airstream in some of those tight spots was unbelievable.
Some guy thought I was a professional. I'm like,
well, we do
what do you mean?
All the time.
But my thing is like, honestly, what did he mean by that? Professional what? Professional backer upper? Like professional?
You can hire people for that.
Do they know?
Yeah, almost like an Uber Eats or like hey, I need to
back up my trailer.
Hold on, back up my trailer.
You got it.
I'll be there in 20 minutes.
I was like, what? He's like, you were just so good. I'll be honest.
You were a truck
the
driver.
thing is, I don't second guess it. It's just like, go all in.
I love it when we got the bus and we show your mother for the first time. And her reaction was, she thought it was the most ridiculous, god-awful thing she had seen.
She hated it.
She's like, what do you mean? This is the most my daughter drives this?
So
I'm just thinking in the back of my mind, like, wow, I let my precious daughter marry this insane guy that's got her driving a truck now for a living.
No. I don't think that's that surprising to them.
Oh, that I have you driving a bus?
I don't think so. I don't think the things I do are surprising to my parents.
Yeah, but it's funny how
I don't know, maybe it's surprising.
You embrace a lot of the stuff that I've grown up with. Like, I mean, a lot of the camping, the RV stuff.
Okay, that's
okay, I backed that up because I grew up around it, but Dad and Mom didn't have campers and RVs. But I mean, I saw my grandfather and my uncle, and I've seen them go through.
There's a difference in seeing it than actually doing it.
No, it wasn't. No, I didn't do.
Okay,
all this
well then we both
just
jumped in
head
said
first.
We love it.
Yeah, but I mean, I know trailers. I know how to fix things and work on stuff. I mean, I do that all the time anyway, so that wasn't foreign. But driving buses and figuring out how all that works, and big trailers and travel trailers and camping life and all that. Yeah, that's true. I didn't learn how to do that until you and I just figured it out.
But I don't think that's hard to figure out, though.
When I catch myself, like, for example, I've had people come up when you guys are asleep and I'm doing something on the camper.
When we're asleep?
No, when you guys are asleep, like in the morning. Like, I'll be out working on the picnic
and someone
table,
comes up, yeah.
and somebody will come up and like, hey, I saw your website on the side. I was like, that's so cool. Oh, yeah. And they'll talk to us about like what we do. And they're like, well, we were wanting to buy a camper. Or like, we'll have neighbors who will say, hey, I want to buy a camper. And I want to do all this. But we've always
Why is it always in the morning? People are so nosy in the morning. This is why I don't wake up. That I did when I was packing.
I was going this morning, and somebody just walked up into the house when I had breakfast.
What? Where is it? They got in your car. It was unlocked.
No, that's right. Yes, one of the kids did leave the door completely open on my car last night when I locked it. That's great. Anyways.
No, I had someone come up to me that had an Airstream and asked me how we liked our bus. But they only do, I swear it only happens in the morning. When you're doing, like when I'm like doing stuff. I
hate that.
I feel like they're like, no, like, okay. Because I promise you, if I was just standing outside by the camper, I don't think anyone would come up to me and ask me.
Let me back.
But once it looks like I'm actually doing stuff, they're like, oh, she clearly knows something.
Well, I don't hate it when people come up to me and ask me questions. I hate it when, like, for example, there's a process to unhooking, checking everything, getting it ready to go. And when somebody derails that, it really aggravates me.
Like someone sits there and watches you back up, and you're like,
oh, actually, I'm not intimidated.
I don't like that. I don't like that. That's what that guy did. That after he found out I was a professional.
You mean like as in like guiding you?
Like he'll sit there, and I'm like, I'm not looking at you. I'm literally doing this on my own. Like I hate. Or when the men come out and they sit there and they watch me, like they're just making sure, which is very nice, but also like.
I was talking more like I'm hooking things up. I think it was the bus can be a way too, because the bus can get set up pretty fast compared to like the trailer.
Yes.
Because you have to unhook the trailer. Like I never liked it when midway I was hooking stuff up or unhooking it, and then somebody wants to come over and just chit chat, and I'm like, okay, because it throws me off to where I'm like, okay, if I do step this, I put this here, I put that there, I feel good. Everything's ready to go and it's hooked up. And I've checked
the whole point of this segment was to discuss how I said it was kind of easy, right?
What do you mean?
Didn't we talk about how I was saying like we kind of just figured it out, and you were like, actually, people came up to me and asked me, and I'm wondering now, what did they ask you that made you think it was difficult?
How do you do this with this lady? No. I mean, they'll always come up and like, oh my gosh, do you love your Tiffin?
I get that too, but I don't think they're asked like that. That was my thing. Was like,
I like your Super C, or how much does that thing cost to fill up, or what kind of mileage does it get?
People can Google.
I saw your website. You guys go all over the country. Are you full timers?
Yes, we get that a lot.
We'll get that a lot.
A lot.
And we're like, no, this is what we do. You know, we do trips
80% of the time.
We do trips 2 to 6 hours during the school year to go through and hit competitions, and in the summer and then break periods we'll go through and do the big trips to get to places. So I get that full time. Well, you get that too. I get that.
Well, no, I get that in the summer when people see our map. And they're like, you must be full-timers. And it's like, no, actually, we travel a lot.
It's funny when we go on the summer trips, when we go to campgrounds, and you see all the people like these campers have been like, because most people, you and I both know this, they'll buy them and they'll store them.
Yeah.
They very rarely use them. So when they see us out and about, they're like, holy cow. And we're like, no, we don't do this full time. But I don't even know, if you calculate the amount of time that we spend on it every single month, doing competitions, it's got to be at least 3 to 5 months, 4 months out of the year that full time we're in a camper.
Probably
a good solid. If you calculate all the days up, I bet you it's close to that, which is pretty darn good for full time.
I don't know. I think it's worth it if you have a camper. If you're doing it like that, I think it's worth it regardless. I'll be honest. I don't care if you do dog agility. You need a camper.
No. Well, you and I both have said
if you have kids,
there'd be no way.
It's so nice.
There'd be no way for us to pull off where we have V Ruff.
It's so nice.
Like the 2 national competitions recently proved that big time, because that was the first time we've used it.
Yeah, because Tulsa prompted us.
We grab the kids from school. We can feed them on the way out there. Or on the way back, we feed them, shower them, throw them in the bed, and then we can get all the dogs ready to go, and it's all done while I'm driving.
Yeah.
Which that's not even possible. I would.
I only like it from the perspective. So if you're, and I know a lot of people obviously are like, I don't have a camper, and agility is a very social thing. But if you've got 4 small kids, you're not going to be hanging around. I love it going back to the camper, and it's just like a little home. I got my food. I got the kids' food, toys. We got video games. We go watch movies. And then I'm not, because before that, I used to
crate out of the car.
No, crate out of the car. And before that happened because of COVID. No, before that, I was at the agility site with a baby crate all day.
That was terrible.
All day, because I didn't have time to go back in between my runs to go to the hotel. And then sitting in my car, I couldn't watch. They didn't have agility gate back then, so I couldn't watch to see when the dogs were running. Or most of the places down here don't have agility gate anyway. So it was
brutal.
It was brutal. That's a little bit dramatic.
We'd have the crates for the kids.
Oh my gosh.
Crates for the dogs.
And I would just walk the whole time waiting for my turn. And that was just long. Those were long days.
I think that's where I get emotional watching you where you're at now.
Because I have a camper. Throw the kids in there. Mag's in charge.
Because I think that, and that's why I think that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do what we're doing right now, was because like people don't know that. Like people
saw it.
Yeah, some people saw it, but people don't realize like that was not fun. And then that was when I was at the dealership and I could
were not there.
There was no way for me
to it was just I mean we had
or like that time when I was at the store and you broke your wrist. Now did you have a camper at that time or no?
I did. We had the Airstream and the water was
that was
frozen.
a different one.
It was
there.
Oh no, it was the Jayco. It was the Jayco. It was at Franklin in the Jayco.
And I was at the store.
And my hose was frozen.
Well, that was at the Airstream.
That was also the Jayco.
They both froze?
Yeah.
I know that they froze at separate times. That was before we knew, hey, fill up your fresh water if it's going to get down to freezing.
That was what I was unfreezing. I was taking the hose off, and then my friends filled up my tank for me before I broke my wrist. And then I remember when I broke my wrist and they came back, they were like, we filled your tank up. And I was like, oh, thanks, because that made my life easier because my
But I was gone. I left the store immediately, but I was 3 hours away.
Yeah. But, I mean, I don't know. That was when we had a camper.
You know what, though? Recently, when I was in Germany, you went through and you had that issue with the broken pipes and stuff like that. I've never called an emergency. I mean, I've heard of them, like an RV repair person, but you were able to, I was like, I mean, I'm literally 4,000 something miles away and you figured it out. I mean, I had to fix some things later.
That the guy didn't.
But it worked.
And we got through it.
It got you through it, and we're good to go.
I think the camper was again for someone that has kids and doing stuff. I think that was a big.
Yeah, but I never.
Helper.
You and I both do. And I say this all the time. I never recommend having a camper
just for the
like ours.
Leisure.
Just use it for one or twice a year. That's the biggest waste of money ever.
No. But I don't think a lot of people. I don't know. Can't say that.
I mean, there's a lot of people that will live.
I don't think a lot of people again.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people got excited during COVID to go get in a camper, but that's gone. I think
people are over that.
I mean, it's not.
Now people are trying to sell them.
If you're not into it, it's if it's not your gig, it's not your gig. Like your mother would not want to stay with us in the camper. Like that's not her gig. Like that's just some people just don't like that.
No, but I do think that if you use it enough, especially in agility, that it is well worth it. Well worth it.
Oh yes.
Especially with kids, because sitting around the arena with a child is not the most pleasant.
No.
Although Magnus was a freaking dream baby. It was when Torsten came.
And I was just doing this.
Love that
all the time.
Love that boy.
All the time. But
yeah, no.
It works and we make it work. And I think that's worth sharing to people. I mean, I was writing I don't know if you saw your latest blog or whatever. It's okay, I wrote it for you.
You just
sort of
use mine.
Just use your post and check GPT.
Yeah, exactly.
I put some good parkage on it.
Do you?
Yeah. I know how you speak and your
I post it. That's how I speak.
Well, that's true. Yes, a lot of emojis. And,
yes, I do love my emojis.
No, but I think that reminding people like you can do both. Like it's okay to do both. And I think
do both. What do you mean do both?
Like as in, I think chase your dream professionally, and incorporate your children into that dream. Like I don't know. I hear so much about people. It's like it's career. You can't have both. It's career, and that's it. And I think that you and I have really blurred the lines between.
I do feel obviously there's a certain. I mean, being like a doctor, obviously I feel like that's a different set of things. Yes. Like this, there's a little bit more open.
You and I both do things that are a little bit more open that would provide
a little bit more flexibility to have kids around.
But then again, though, we do the majority of these competitions are on the weekends. Mm-hmm. So we're gone on a Friday, we're back on Sunday. I mean,
well, yeah, because kids have school.
So, I think that it can be done, and I think it's a cool process. It's not pretty all the time. I mean, you and I have plenty of conversations.
We never fight. Yeah.
That's true. We never fight. I don't think we've ever fought once in our entire relationship at all. It's always rainbows and sunshine.
And Parker crying.
In
the shower by himself.
I'm in the shower by myself.
You can't see your tears.
By myself?
Yeah. Wow.
Wrong show.
Another off-hour show.
No, that's Agility After Hours. After Dark. Agility After Dark.
Good one.
But anyways, well, I think this has been cool. I think, I don't know if it means anything to anybody, but a lot of people are always like, what goes on behind the scenes?
Now, is this going to be a weekly thing? Or
I don't know.
What is this?
What do you want to do? You're the one that's like, I kind of want to do that too. You were like, I'm talking to the kids and like, I'm looking forward to doing that.
I fell asleep upstairs. I fell asleep upstairs.
Yes, you did.
I don't know. I just don't know what else would we talk about. Unless this is like a, let's talk about our week type thing. Like, there's so much unless people ask questions.
We could always do that. We could always go through and submit questions.
Submit questions?
Yeah.
Hey, I was wondering,
what
is Parker wearing?
And then I want you to submit these questions to me.
Just ask each other questions.
Actually, questions would be really interesting. We may have to see how we could go through and do that. Would you like live stream it? Or would you have people submit questions? Like just email us.
Where are we posting this?
I don't know. I thought we posted. Do you post it like on?
I was just gonna post
Facebook?
it on my Facebook.
Or do you post it on like YouTube?
Are we doing a separate YouTube channel for this, like Parker and Vivica?
I don't think it's the Parker and Vivica show. I think it's more like.
Is it V Ruff Crew? So they see a lot of dogs, and then it's like
V Ruff Crew.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's part of that. I mean, we can incorporate both. I don't know. I think it's kind of cool just to share with people what we do and how we do it. And what that looks like. Maybe it's good. Maybe we do talk about a week. Hey, this is what happened this week, and it was kind of crazy. Like, I was trying to cook this, and you were out there doing lessons until 2 a.m. Just kidding. That never happens.
Where was I? What just happened?
No, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We'll just have to wait and see.
But I do need some direction on this. Like, am I posting this somewhere?
We could, but we're done.
Okay.
That's it. Oh, do we done? Do we turn this off?
I guess so.
Do
you have a sign off? Are you leading this? Who's leading this? Back to you.